What is up, everyone? I am Indy Sean 45.
And I am Ryan, Week Zero Productions for Vel.
And this is the Fighting Irish Power Hour. Uh, Now, let's just dive right into it, Ryan. The news of the day. Current Notre Dame offensive coordinator Tommy Rees is down in Tuscaloosa right now, and he has interviewed for the offensive coordinator position at Alabama. Now, I didn't see this coming. Uh, what are your thoughts, man? This is a crazy day, crazy news.
Well, I didn't see it coming either, but I guess a lot of Notre Dame outside people said it wasn't surprising. With the fact that, like we have talked about all season, us Notre Dame fans don't understand it, but the NFL guys love Tommy Rees. They think he's going to be a really good coach someday. They think he's a genius and all this other stuff, and Um, while we've seen times where he makes a lot of great play calls, there have been times where he's made some, let's just say, idiotic play calls at times. Um, but I guess it's not as surprising when you look at, if you really paid attention to the last couple off seasons, the last 2 years, I believe, Tommy Reese has interviewed for another job. He interviewed for Brian Kelly at LSU last year, turned that down. And now Nick Saban is offering him the big money to come be his OC. Man, it's almost like one of those cases where it's like, as a fan, you got to be careful what you wish for. We wanted this guy fired and we wanted him gone for what, majority of the season, a lot of fans. And
Yeah.
now it's not official, but from, every source, it seems like it's pretty much a done deal to Alabama. However, Notre Dame's told Tommy that they're willing to match any
Yes.
offer. So,
Yes. You beat me to the punch on that. Um, as of right now, he has not officially signed on to be Alabama's offensive coordinator. It's all up in the air at this point. It's his choice. Either he goes to Alabama, Notre Dame has the chance to match it, which it sounds like they will match whatever Alabama offers. But there's been cases where even if a coach's team does match the offer, that doesn't mean that they want to stay there.
mm-hmm.
So, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, during the season and on the show here, when Ben and I have done our recaps, and even outside the regular previews and recaps, I mean, I myself after the Stanford game, I did a quick 3 or 4 minute video going on a rant and cursing up a storm, which is not something I usually do. But I guess on the bright side, we got like 25 subscribers out of that.
Hey man, they
You
love
know,
they love when you get mad with. Hey, Sean, we got to see angry Sean some more this next season. I
yeah,
think the people love it,
Sean
man.
Smash.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but my question to you, because my mind can't wrap my head around it. Now, it's like, obviously, I don't know if you'd seen the news, but we lost James Laurinaitis. Um,
That's
that hurts. I thought he was a big, especially recruiting wise, he was a big get with the relationship he had with Marcus Freeman. Um, I don't think a lot of fans appreciate enough the assistance, and not only the assistance, but the grad assistants as well. Those are a big part of the team. Um, but for him, it makes sense because he's going back to his alma mater. And I'm sure if any of us played for Notre Dame and say we were coaching at Ohio State and Notre Dame came calling, hey, I'm going to go Notre Dame. That's why it doesn't make as much sense to me with Tommy, because it's not a money issue, as Notre
right.
Dame's told him that they would match. It's a where he wants to be. And it doesn't make sense for a Notre Dame alum to not want to stick it out at his alma mater. Tommy said since he's been there, I want to build something here. I want to bring a national championship to Notre Dame. Well, guess what, Tommy? You have the best team you've had in your 3 years of being an offensive coordinator this past season. You're willing to leave that? That do,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And here's the thing. I mean, one thing that people have to realize is assistants are going to come and go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys who have stayed an assistant their entire career because they like working with a certain coach or whatever. But the majority of the time, assistants are going to want to make their own path. They want to be a head coach themselves, or they want to make it to somewhere bigger. And in this case, right now, it's two blue blood college football programs fighting for one assistant, and of course, it's been reported that there's been interest from the NFL for Tommy Rees, and like I was starting to say earlier, and I kind of stopped with it. Yes, myself, I have been pissed off at Tommy Rees and the play calling that that he has made at times this year. It's been mostly frustrating because he's been a part of the program for for 3-4 years now, and it's kind of at a standstill. I mean, things haven't exactly gotten. Well, I can't say that they haven't gotten better, but this past season was kind of a step back. So he's been inconsistent. If I guess that's the best way to put it, and that's what's been really frustrating for myself personally, and I'm sure a lot of fans out there feel the same way. But then again, a lot of fans are saying, "Good, get the like basically from Happy Gilmore. Good, get the hell out of my life. Who needs you? Beat it. Leave me alone."
Yeah, I'm not like that. Now Tommy obviously should have had some heat going into this next season because I think a lot of Tommy gets a lot of heat for this past season, but I think we also need to take a step back and realize that he was playing shorthanded for a majority of the season. He went into that Ohio State game very conservative with a first year starting quarterback at Ohio State, which we bash him for, but I can understand and I can sort of defend that decision when you're playing a top 3 team at the time on the road, and your quarterback's never played in like a game like that before. I can understand that. So I think he gets a little bit of a break for that game. Marshall game, no. No. There's no reason for that. But you could argue the last 10 games of the season, including the bowl game, again, playing shorthanded. Look at who he had at quarterback, Drew Pine. Tommy calls the plays, but it's up for Drew Pine to, complete passes on those plays, make right decisions on those plays, not focus on Mayer on those plays. How many times did we see Tommy call a play that was meant for Lorenzo Styles to get wide open? And he's wide open, but Drew doesn't throw him the ball. That's not on Tommy, that's on Drew.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of our fan base would give Tommy the fault for Drew's mistakes, which, yes, the coach has part of it, but you could be Bill Belichick. You don't have if your quarterback doesn't, execute what you're calling, I don't care who you are. You're not going to succeed.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, as I usually say after every loss or well, I was going to say bad loss, but any loss in general, I mean, yeah, there's blame to go around. It's not just the offensive coordinator. It's not just the head coach. I mean, everybody has a share in the blame.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back and watch every loss that we had this past season, there's a little bit of everything. I mean, there's a little bit of you can go through the whole buffet to find mistakes on everybody. And so I know that there's a lot of Notre Dame fans seeing this news that are very happy right now. I mean, I've seen so many comments already from Notre Dame fans saying, "Oh, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Good Alabama, take him. We don't want him. We're tired of him," so on and so forth. And those are just the G-rated comments. But
the thing I've seen more of, Sean, is there's that crowd, but then there's also a lot of Notre Dame fans freaking out because Tommy Rees was the main recruiter for CJ Carr.
That's what I was getting to. This is a very be careful what you wish for scenario, because how many recruits could leave because of this move? I mean, we've seen this happen before where guys leave because, either the head coach leaves or a key recruiter on his staff leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoot, I mean, Laurinaitis leave me bothered me already.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, like I just said, people, guys are assistants are gonna want to leave to form their own legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an uncommon thing.
But the thing with Tommy, it doesn't make sense, is he's getting the same job. Now, if Bama was offering me, and if I'm Tommy Rees, I don't even care if I played football in Notre Dame. If I'm a coordinator and Bama comes calling and says, hey, we'll offer you the head coaching job, Nick Saban's going to retire. Okay, then I would take a serious look at, hey, that's more money. I'm going to be a head coach. I'm getting a promotion. But that's what I don't understand. It's like Notre Dame's giving you the same amount of money, the same position. And you can't, people say, you see all the national media people today talk about, well, Alabama's more of a blue blood. Alabama's a more serious contender. You can't fault Tommy Rees to want to go to an actual contender. What does that even mean? Notre Dame is, at the very least, one of the top 5 most historic college football programs in the nation.
Yeah. Of course.
What do you mean Alabama's a blue blood? Alabama, yeah, they were good with Bear Bryant. They've been really good with Nick Saban. But in between, they sucked. They sucked. Like, no, I'm not going to get into this much argument because I'm sure we could get it going on for like 30 minutes about it. But to me, in my opinion, Notre Dame is more of a blue blood than Alabama is. Now, part of it is the recency bias, but
yes, that's exactly it. Is because Alabama's been winning national titles in recent history, and as we all know, college football is one of those games where it's a "what have you done for me lately" kind of sport.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. That's what it is. And the thing is, we haven't, for like a good 20 years, there was a point, like, and I'm talking between the end of Lou Holtz retiring and to when Brian Kelly got to Notre Dame. That was like a good 15, 20 year period, give or take.
Mediocre football.
Mediocre football. And that's what a lot of people focus on, and understandably so. Alabama got hot after, who was it? The coach that they got in trouble under, that they got sanctions and whatnot. I think it was Mike Shula. Shula, I think. I could be wrong. But there was a point where they had sanctions, or they were on probation or something, and that program was down. And then Nick Saban gets there and he turns it around within
Alabama before Nick Saban was a perennial 6-6 or worse team every year. So now, I don't know, man. It's just so frustrating because it's like, if I'm Tommy, I turned down a ton of money from LSU last year to go to Brian Kelly. To me, the LSU job and the Alabama job are similar at this point. I mean, hell, LSU just beat Bama this year. Whether or not, call it a fluke, probably was, but it doesn't matter. They still beat them.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Well, and you know what? If Tommy leaves, hope him the best. Not going to have any ill will towards him. But I don't know, man. It scares me to death because I don't think C.J. Carr would decommit because of that, because he loves Notre Dame. But you never know, man. You just never know.
And yes, that stuff could happen, but what I was telling a couple of friends at work today who were also Notre Dame fans, people were saying the same thing after Brian Kelly left and Marcus Freeman got hired on. Oh, we're going to lose a crap load of recruits. Everybody's going to leave for, lack of a better term.
Well, I will say the difference between that and that was because Freeman was the recruiter. Brian Kelly didn't do any sort of recruiting.
Well, I'm just going with the argument. I'm just going with the argument. I of course, I understand the complete breakdown of that.
Yeah.
Coach Freeman's a recruiter. Brian Kelly was pretty weak at it. Yeah, I get that. But I'm just saying, the point that I'm trying to get at is just because there's a change. Well, I shouldn't say change because it hasn't happened yet. But if a change of this magnitude does happen with Tommy Rees, that doesn't mean that program's going to just fall apart and guys are going to leave. We have seen it where changes happen and guys that were currently recruited stayed with the program.
Mm-hmm.
So just because if Tommy Rees were to accept the OC position at Alabama, that doesn't mean that things are going to just fall apart for us. And that's why, people shouldn't just panic right away.
Mm-hmm. Now, Sean, do you think it's a possibility if that Carr would leave? Or do you think, because we've known him for about a year now. He's been committed for about a year. It'll be a year in March. How do you feel about it? Do you think that he, just based off of how he is, do you think he would stick it out? Do you think he would transfer? Not transfer, but decommit?
Well, I guess it's kind of early to say now, but seeing CJ Carr and the kind of personality that he has, he looks like a stand-up kid who would stick to his word. But at the same time, with how college football is now with NIL deals and the transfer portal, who knows? But I would like to think that one assistant leaving wouldn't make or break a team.
But and a lot of people, I don't see him talking about this. The weird thing about this and the timing of this is Tommy has been recruiting his butt off since the bowl game.
Oh, he's been busy, yeah.
This is the difference between Tommy and Freeman and BK. After bowl games, BK would take a couple months off until spring camp.
Yeah.
He didn't do recruiting in the spring. Marcus Freeman, on the other hand, and all the coaches on his coaching staff, which he makes all of them do, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They are out 5 days a week recruiting. Every single week since the bowl game, that's what they've been doing. Tommy has been all over the place. He was at Antoine Hill Jr.'s house, who's a top 2025 recruit for quarterback. So he's been busy, and it's like if he was expecting to leave or looking to leave, you wouldn't think that he would be busting his butt so much on the recruiting trail if he knew it. That's why I wonder if this was kind of like an out-of-the-blue thing where Nick Saban calls, and he's just kind of like, well, it's Nick Saban. I kind of got to go look at it.
Yeah. Well, we got a comment here that says maybe Tommy going to Bama for an interview just to get a bargaining chip to get some more money at Notre Dame. It's possible. I mean, maybe he's not happy with his current contract, whatever that may be. I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible that that's why he took the interview. But that's the thing. We talked about this earlier. Money, I don't think, is a factor because Notre Dame has money, Alabama has money, so he can get what he wants at either place.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it sounds like, based on what I'm reading on as far as updates go on the story, he's been offered the job officially. Mm-hmm. He's been offered the job officially. And as you said near the start of the video and near the start of the show here, what am I talking about? During the start of the show, it sounds like Notre Dame will try to match. And if they match and he still goes to Alabama, then that'll tell a little bit. That'll tell a little bit, like maybe there were some hurt feelings there, or a potential of different scenarios.
Do you think that part of it is Tommy seen all the stuff our fan base said about him during the season and the amount of blame that he got?
Yeah. Oh, I think that's definitely a part of it. I mean, there's no way a coach, whether it's the head coach or one of the assistants, can go through a season and not pick up the trend of what the fan base is saying. I mean, you're going to tell me that Tommy Rees or Marcus Freeman isn't on Twitter or whatever and see.
Well, I believe at one of the basketball. I believe at one of the Notre Dame basketball games, fans were chanting, or the student section was chanting "Fire Tommy." So, that was November, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm sure fans were probably at the game saying it as well, at the football games. So I'm sure he's seen all the hate. But if it is that, I would just say to Tommy, dude, I remember the amount of hate you got when you were a player at Notre Dame.
Yeah, exactly.
It can't be any worse than it was then. You remember the whole nickname Turnover Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there. Believe me, I was there watching. I was there watching like every other
the amount of crap that people talked about him when he played can't be any worse than what he's got as a coach.
And then when off-field problems arose, I mean, he gets drunk in a bar. A cop goes to arrest him. He tries to outrun the cop and can't do it. So that was just fuel to the fire. People saying, "Geez, he can't scramble. He can't even outrun a cop." You know,
hey man, he was Stetson Bennett before Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, exactly. and that's another thing too is, you know, Stetson Bennett getting all the hate that he does from fans in the Georgia fan base. I mean, all because of this recent.
And he got was a public intoxication recently.
Yeah,
in trouble for that.
And I, just talking about that for a second. That whole thing was stupid, blown way out of proportion. Yep. He made a petty mistake. It's not like he did anything super serious. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be drunk in public, but then again, you could throw the old. He could probably throw the old.
Oh, but Tom Brady doesn't get arrested for public intoxication when he threw the Super Bowl trophy overboard, does he?
No. but you know, what I was saying with Stetson Bennett is it could be the old Ron White joke. I didn't want to be drunk in public. I wanted to be drunk in a bar. They threw me into public.
Yeah, basically.
They threw me into public. Arrest them. but it's just, yeah, the hate that Stetson Bennett gets from some fans in the Georgia fan base is absurd. I mean, the stuff that he's helped contributed the past 2 years of that team winning 2 national championships. It's ridiculous. But staying on topic here, as I've said enough times already, yeah, this past season I've been mad at Tommy plenty of times for play calling and, you know, the video that I made going on a little rampage. But that wasn't even just against Tommy; it was against everybody. Like, what are you guys doing? But the thing is, despite the anger that I've had at Tommy for times, that doesn't mean that I want him to fail. Mm-hmm. It's just the frustration, like I said, has been, you know, he's been here for a few years now. And granted, yes, he didn't have exactly the top elite quarterbacks to work with this past season. But just for example, that in the Gator Bowl on the second pick six that Buckner threw, why are you even throwing in that scenario?
Yeah,
you shouldn't even be throwing there. So mistakes like that are 100% on him for even making that call to begin with.
Well, you know what? I think those calls right there. And, you know, do you remember the game against Stanford where it was like we got stopped on a goal line stand because Tommy didn't run it up the middle? He ran to the side, tried doing like a halfback sweep.
Yeah,
with Audric Estime, which that's not Estime's game. That's not
Notre Dame's game. He's the pounded up the gut.
Exactly. You don't want to run him to the outside at all.
No.
Especially when you have an undersized Stanford defense that's how they get tackles for losses because they use that they're smaller and quicker.
Yeah.
But go back to that game and the whole, you know, you do that, and then on 4th and goal, instead of, I believe it was like 4th and inches or something from the goal line, instead of handing it off to Estime, you get cute with it and you do a jet sweep with Braden Lindsay. That, those type of plays where I think Tommy gets cocky. I think he thinks, you know, I'm a genius and I know more than you, and I'm gonna outthink you. Which football sometimes, Sean, is a game where not the smartest people win. It's
right.
Who's the smartest and the most physical dominant at the right times.
I think it's more of a case of he's outcoached himself. he's overthinking it. He's trying to do way too much when you don't need to do that much. I mean, the answer is right there, what you need to do. I mean, you got a big bruiser of a running back in Audric Estime. Don't pass it. Don't try to run to the outside. Run right up the middle with that kind of offensive line that you have, and just pound it right into the goal, into the end zone. But it's but maybe he's thinking that all the other opposing coaches are going to catch on to what he's going to do. I don't know, but it's just, don't overthink it. That's what it comes down to. Do not overthink it. So,
yeah, and that's been a thing. Is I don't. as I'm getting my dinner right now. Sorry about that, but
No, there's nothing to be sorry about. That's love right there, man. That's love right there.
yeah, that's it. Yep. She.
I'm really jealous right now because I see you're having Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
We have a Dairy Queen where I live, but
It's not a grill and chill.
well, no, it's not. It's not a grill and chill. Are you talking about like those small ones?
It's the ones where you can eat inside and they have like the hamburger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have
It's an actual full Dairy Queen restaurant, but it's just it goes it goes quote out of season for a couple months during the winter. So it's closed.
Man.
It's closed right now. And
Yeah, man, I could eat this all the time.
I so badly would love a chicken strip basket right now.
With the gravy, or what do you go? What do you go?
Oh, great gravy, honey barbecue. I've tried all sorts of their sauces, but anyway, I could go on DQ forever and how good it is, but got to try to stay on topic.
Hey, man,
here.
I don't think I don't think the fans would mind Sean, the DQ connoisseur, telling us about some key Dairy Queen items.
Oh yeah,
But
man. Yeah.
one thing I did want to talk about is, funny enough, for anyone watching, actually, go check out the recent show me, Sean, and our other buddy Sean did yesterday night. It's up now. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yet, Sean.
No, it wasn't up last night when I went to check it out, but I figured you did have to go and do some post production editing. I hate it when I can't talk. But it was a fun show last night.
Yeah, it really was. But like one of the things we talked about last night, obviously the 3-star kid, cornerback Leonard Moore, from Round Rock, Texas. We showed some of his highlights during the show, so anyone watching, go over and check that out. Me and Sean kind of did some more in-depth analysis on that kid. But guess he's commitment date is this Saturday. A week after his Notre Dame visit, which is a really good sign for Notre Dame. All signs point to that he's going to commit, which he's a 3-star and people get caught up in that way too much. I don't know about you, Sean. I know we said he looked like a project last night. I'm very impressed with him. Even for a kid that might be a project, I think even if it takes him 2 years to get, fully rounded out, he's going to be a stud, man. I really think he's going to be a stud.
Well, when I broke it down last night, when I saw this kid's highlights, I mean, he's really quick. He's on the receivers like glue. He obviously he doesn't have Deion Sanders like coverage, but he did pretty damn well. And so, I mean, it just when I say project, I know a lot of people probably think of that as a derogatory term, but it's not. All I'm saying is this kid has a lot of room to grow. And if he can grow from where he's at now, holy crap, is he going to be good?
And the nice thing about him is he's tall and he's lengthy.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. I don't know if I ever told you this, and I don't even know if I've told Ben this, but for the longest time, that always used to frustrate the hell out of me when it came to Notre Dame recruiting defensive backs. They would always get guys that were like 5'9", 5'10". And I remember my dad when he was when we were talking about this, and this was like 15 years ago, 15, maybe even 20 years ago, I don't know. He would always be like, why in the hell can't these coaches get defensive backs that are like 6'2", 6'3"? And yeah, you want your defensive backs to have some height to them. Real quick here, Terry Brown. So is Tommy. No, he's not gone, but he has officially been offered the job as at Alabama to be their offensive coordinator. And it sounds.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to finish telling Terry here. It sounds like Notre Dame will match any offer to keep him in South Bend, though.
But to get back to Leonard Moore, I mean, I really like his stuff. I mean,
I can't hear you. hear a bunch of scratching.
Are we good?
We're good now. Yes. Yes, I hear you.
But like you had said, my thing is I've always liked tall corners. 6 foot tall guys who are lengthy. They may not be the fastest, but their length makes up for that speed differential.
Yeah.
You know, as a
Because
Broncos fan, Pat Surtain, I love him. He's probably going to be an NFL Hall of Famer in a couple years. Not a couple years, but when he finishes. Dude is 6'3", lengthy. And that's what I love in corners. I've never understood, oh, well, let's get a 5'9" corner who's going to get mossed every time. You know?
Well, and that's just it. I mean, I've seen plenty of games like when, like even before Ben and I joined forces to start this show, I was going solo on, doing my own previews and recaps. I'd be looking at, the height of our our defensive backs and the height of the opposing wide receivers. And I was always seeing like as far as the opponent's receivers, I'd see 6'2", 6'2", 6'5", 6'5", and whatever. Then on our side for our corners and safeties, I'd see 5'10", 5'9", 5'11", maybe one that's over 6 foot. So that right there, and as we all know, football is a game of inches. That right there is an automatic advantage to your opponent. Which I'm not saying there haven't been guys that have been good who are, short defensive backs, but I'd rather have the height to know that you have a chance for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I've always said, talking back to, the 3-star point, Ben Morrison was a 3-star, and he was on the all-freshman team. So I wish our fan base wouldn't look at the stars too much. I get so annoyed anytime Notre Dame offers a kid that's not a 4 or 5-star. And all you see our fan base is just complain.
Yeah.
Like, you just want us to offer. You realize that there are only, 25 stars at the most, maybe, in every class? And there are probably only 250, maybe 275 4-stars, and then the rest is 3 and below.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to do that and only offer,
you want to go out?
To do that and only get upset when we offer a kid because he's not a 4-star is just unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, this is how I've always seen it with the stars, and maybe this isn't accurate and I should get a different way of thinking on it. I'm not saying that the stars don't make a difference. I mean, yeah, there's a difference between 5 stars and 3 stars, of course. I get that. But the way I've always seen it is the main difference between those two types of players is the 5-star could probably see starting time right away. The 3-star is still capable of becoming that kind of player. They have the capability of becoming a 5-star player, but they just need a little work before they can get in there and actually start, but they can still see playing time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've seen it. If that's a wrong way to look at it, then okay, I'll think of it a different way. But that's what I've always noticed anyway. But the bottom line is, just because you don't have a team loaded with 5 stars doesn't mean that you're not a good team. You can still win championships. You have just as good a talent.
Hey, you know what? Notre Dame made 2 playoff runs with a 3-star quarterback. Think about that. Ian Book was a 3-star. He wasn't a highly talented kid. Now, Ian Book had his flaws, but no one can take. He's one of the few quarterbacks in college football history right now that can say that he took his team to 2 college football playoffs.
No, I mean, and that's a job well done as far as coaching goes.
Mm-hmm.
This was Ian Book was a guy who, by most, would not be considered an elite quarterback, and I have to admit that too. He wasn't elite, but he got the job done. he got the job done. He stepped up when it mattered. And what more can I say?
Yeah, look,
And everybody trashed on Ian Book so much, and I didn't understand why.
I don't get it either. Notre Dame. I feel like it's more casual Notre Dame fans. Like the ones that complain but don't actually support the team. That give him more crap. But you should have seen on the message board, Sean. It made me mad, and we're not going to get into it a whole lot, but briefly, I'm on a lot of Notre Dame message boards, and when the Eagles made the Super Bowl, Notre Dame made a post. Ian Book is going to the Super Bowl. Congrats. You don't know how many fans, Notre Dame fans, said, "Oh, that's cute." Oh yeah, Ian Book, he had a hell of a game today. He really helped out his squad. And I'm like, you guys don't realize how hard it is to make a 53-man NFL roster.
Yeah, no kidding. So because he didn't lead the team to victory, he doesn't deserve any credit. I mean, that's like saying to hell with all the guys on the practice squads. What? I mean, are they not there busting their asses off week in and week out to help the team get better?
And then, you see people, oh, well, he did a really good job holding the clipboard. I said, yeah, you know what? And he gets paid millions of dollars to hold that clipboard.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because that's an important job. You think NFL teams would pay somebody millions of dollars if they didn't think it was important?
Yeah, you need in football. You need the brains just as much as you do the brawn, man. I mean, any fan with common sense knows that.
And if you've ever played football and understand football, like me and you, Sean, we've played football at varying levels. But I think you would agree with me that the guys, even on the practice squad, hell, even the bench warmers, they are an important part of the team. Because you know why? Guess what they do during the week? They take the beatings from the starters most of the time. They set up the game plan for the starters, and they help get the starters prepared to go out there and play a game. They are a very vital role in a football team.
Well, and I can tell you with 100% certainty, when I was playing back in high school, whenever we would have a team that would have multiple schemes and multiple defensive looks or whatever, either side of the ball, you're holding the blocking pad there, and the coaches would tell us, "Hey, I want you to line up in this gap," and it would throw off the starting guard or whoever, and that would help the coach be like, hey, so and so, that he'd say to the guard, "Listen, when he's lined up there, you have to do this," and so on and so forth. You get the point.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches would always tell the backups holding the blocking pads, "Hey, you guys are doing great. You're giving us great looks here, and this is what we need."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, anybody who's on an NFL roster right now, they deserve it. The backups deserve it just as much as the starters do, because everybody there is busting their ass off. They're doing what is asked of them.
And you know what? And people also don't understand in football. What makes me mad is that the people that criticize Notre Dame for posting that and giving credit to Ian Book for being on a team that's going to the Super Bowl. A lot of those people, guess what? Go to their profiles. They never played football. They never played a sport. They don't understand. But they want to speak on it. Like, oh, well, he's not important to the team.
Well, let me tell you something. Message boards and then a lot of groups that I see on Facebook, that's where brain cells go to die. And I can't say that that's entirely the case, because, and this may sound like I just made a hypocritical statement, but no. I am actually an admin on a couple of different Facebook groups, and got to give a shout out to one group that I help out with, Notre Dame Nation, Fight of the Irish. If any of you guys are watching, shout out to you guys. But the thing is, on groups like that, for the record here, we clean out all the negativity. We don't allow trolls to come in and bash the coaches and the players and whatnot. We get rid of them. And there's too much negativity in this fan base. But other than that, where I know for sure we're going to get rid of it, no, a lot of message boards just, dead brain, nothing but dead brain cells.
But like my final point on it, it's just people, like I said, people don't understand. When they say 1% of all football players that play football at any level, I believe in high school is where that number comes from. 1% of all high school football players make it to the NFL. That doesn't mean make an NFL 53-man roster. That means either you get drafted or you make a practice squad as an undrafted free agent. 1%. It's even less than that to make a 53-man roster. So, the people that want to say, oh, well, Ian Book's not good. You know what? He may not be a starter, but he obviously has some sort of talent if he's on an NFL 53-man roster, because you know what? There are a hell of a lot of guys that wish they could be on a 53-man roster right now.
This Brian Denbo gentleman says, let us not forget the man that got Ian in the league was in Alabama today. And that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about that news this whole show. But yeah, it's just going back to Tommy Rees. It's just, the point is, I don't want him to fail. I want him to, I'd love it if he stayed with us and completely turned things around. Got better as a coach.
I would love to see him with this year's team. I would really like to see that.
Yeah. He says, just because it isn't on social media doesn't mean it didn't happen. What's that about Reese coaching Ian Book?
But
I would assume that's what he's talking about.
What I didn't want to talk. Oh, go ahead.
Cold as Brian. What's up, bud? First, he says he's never been big on Tommy. Okay, it's fair. It's fair. A lot of people haven't. He also says, pretty sure Justin Jefferson was a 2-star recruit.
He was. He wasn't even ranked.
Exactly. But
you know what Joe Burrow was? Joe Burrow was a 3-star.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. People forget. Just because you're lower on the star list doesn't mean you can't go on and have success at the collegiate level and in the pros.
We were talking about it on the Week 0 podcast, I believe, a couple weeks ago, when the playoffs were set. Okay. I believe only one quarterback that had made the playoffs this past year in the NFL was a 4-star or higher. And guess who that was? Trevor Lawrence. Everybody else, Tom Brady, 3-star. Patrick Mahomes, 3-star. Josh Allen, not even ranked. Daniel Jones, not ranked. Jalen Hurts, a 3-star. Brock Purdy for the 49ers. Wasn't even ranked. Exactly. Stars do not matter. We've seen that in the NFL. So it really does not matter.
And, it's like I was saying earlier. I mean, the main difference between the 5 stars and the 3 stars is the 5 stars have more of a chance to start right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, of course, I'm not going to say that 5 stars aren't better than 3-star players. Of course, that's usually the case. I'm not saying otherwise. It's just, all I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff in between that you have to look at, and then other things that factor in. So yeah.
I did want to ask you, is if Tommy were to leave, who would you get to replace him?
Well, it's interesting. I saw DJ Shepard here. He said this earlier. Mike Goolsby might take Tommy's place. Well, I mean,
yeah.
Goolsby, I mean,
he's a defensive guy.
Yeah, he was a linebacker. Went to Joliet Catholic here in Illinois. But I mean,
Hey, just hire Sean. Hire Sean. Hire me. We'll do it.
oh yeah, you know what? Let me put it this way: if Notre Dame hired me as the offensive coordinator, if Marcus Freeman said, "All right, I'm going to go talk to this guy in the Quad Cities who I've never heard of," and say, "Hey, you, what's your name?" Sean. Okay, Sean, I want you to be my offensive coordinator. I've never met you. My name's Marcus. I'm like, yes, I know who you are. Come be the offensive coordinator of my football team. I would probably make Tommy Rees look like Bill freaking Belichick or Don Shula. Bill Walsh. Let's throw his name in there too.
Hey,
The
you know
great
what I would do every play? And Notre Dame fans are going to love this. I'd do inside zone and halfback dive every play. Just give Audric Estime like 50, 60 carries a game. There we go.
Jeez. The Chicago Bears did that with Walter Payton back in the day, and he would get like 270 yards a game, and they still would barely win the game. So I don't know if that'd be a good idea. Because I was actually watching today during my lunch break, I was watching the ESPN 30 for 30 on the 85 Bears, and Gary Fensick, the defensive back from that team, he said, coming into the 85 season, all we had was Walter Payton. I mean, there was a game where he ran for 275 yards against the Vikings, and we barely won that game 10-7.
It was the defense that was so dominant.
Yeah, exactly. And that was before the 85 team. When they didn't have a quarterback, but that was before he was talking about before Jim McMahon got there, and they actually had a passing threat.
But I didn't want to ask you because there have been a few names that have been kind of shouted out there.
We've been straying off that. Go ahead.
And one of them was the offensive coordinator for Western Kentucky last year when Bailey Zappi was there. He's the OC, I believe, at Texas Tech. He was the guy that got Bailey Zappi to break the all-time passing touchdown record for a season. And they averaged, I believe, last year 43.5 points per game. Without that offensive coordinator, Western Kentucky this year went down to 32 points per game. So a pretty significant drop. So I would like a guy that, runs a high-powered offense. Almost like the air raid, but not like the Mike Leach air raid. Like more like the Lincoln Riley type of air raid where they open it up with running the football. Because I think
Gotcha.
If you're going to replace Tommy Rees, you need an offensive coordinator that can get explosive plays with the receivers, but also understand that at Notre Dame, the two things that Notre Dame can recruit better than anybody else in the country are what, Sean? Running backs and offensive linemen.
Yep, exactly.
So that's our biggest weapon. So I think if we can find a guy, I've been in love with the Kansas offensive coordinator, Koto Mickey. He's a younger guy. He won 5 or 6 national championships with the coach over at Kansas when he was at, was it Wisconsin Whitewater, I believe, or Mount Union?
Probably.
One of the two. He won like 5 or 6 national champions with him. So he's a really smart guy. A lot of people have a lot of good things to say about him. So for me, it would be the Kansas offensive coordinator and Texas Tech.
That they'll be. I don't know who those guys are really, but they'd be good choices if they put up those kind of numbers from a coaching standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I gotta address a couple comments here. Hey, Chess, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well, and don't feel down on the stuff that's going on right now, man. A lot of us have your back. BBD, what's up, dude? He says I had to unsubscribe then resubscribe in order to comment in chats. The hell's that all about? Well, see, BBD, this Thursday night show, we've made it subscribers only, and a lot of that too was to kind of get rid of the riffraff, all the trolls that show up and try to be smart asses and use stuff against me, that kind of thing. So yeah, this show, you got to be a subscriber to be able to comment. But I don't know if you had to unsubscribe and then subscribe just to comment. I don't get that. That's weird.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just really think that's the key for Notre Dame for an offensive coordinator. They have to have somebody that understands the foundation that Notre Dame is built off of, but improve off of that foundation. I don't think we need somebody that comes in and wants to, change what Notre Dame football is. I think you need that is willing to come in, understand the strengths that they have, and just build off of it.
That's weird, BBD. BBD says, but I've been subscribed since the channel started. Let me check the settings here. I have the thing, the quote control room that you can see for your live streams. I have it pulled up right here. Let me see what's going on with control room. Oh, I don't want to. Hold on a sec. I don't want to go into. I don't want to watch the show while I'm doing it here. Let's see. Come on here. I don't know. What do you think, Ryan? Do you think it's a mistake to make this Thursday night show subs only?
Doesn't bother me anyway. I know you don't want to get trolls, but like I said, Sean, I've always got your back if we ever get trolls because they don't know what it's like. They don't know what the Week Zero podcast boys. We pack some heat, so to speak.
Let's see. Yeah, I've got it set on here for subscribers only. Minimum subscribe time, any duration. It's okay. Live commentary approved users. So I guess that would mean if somebody made a comment, I would have to approve it. Okay, so I'm not going to do that because if you're I don't get that, BBD. If you were subscribed from the start, then I don't know why it would do that. That's weird. So yeah, I don't get that. But I don't know. I guess we could make this a show for everybody. I could take that off. Hell, we've only got about 10 minutes left anyway. We'll go ahead and take that off.
Give the trolls 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's funny. That's what I've never understood with trolling is why would they waste time with somebody like me? So, all right.
They're jealous, Sean. They're jealous.
I guess so. They must be. All right, it's off. Well, that's true. That's true, BBD. He says, just remember trolls can click subscribe too.
I did want to say really quick, Sean, I do got to go in about 10 minutes or so. So
okay, well there you go.
Get anybody? Yep, you got 10 minutes. Ask your questions.
So, but yeah, I don't know if for sure this is going to happen. If Tommy Rees is for sure going to go to Alabama, but I'd like to think that even with what we've lost as far as assistant coaches go, you can still find somebody that is just as good.
Yeah,
but I did like having Laurinaitis coaching our linebackers. That was.
I do also like. I did like, for all the flaws that Tommy did have, I did like having a Notre Dame guy in because he understands what it's like to play at Notre Dame. I mean, there's nothing you can replace that with, if that makes sense.
The only problem, and Ben and I have talked about this many times, but the only problem with that is it seems like sometimes whoever the head coach is, it's almost like they seem to feel like they're obligated to hire somebody that's a friend of the program, that's a Notre Dame guy. Well, sometimes that's good, but sometimes it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got all these coaches who just hire friends that are currently there, and that hasn't exactly always worked out. So sometimes when you get, sometimes the best approach is to get somebody who has not been a part of the program. Like I'm sure Big Vol Daddy would agree with me on this. Josh Heupel is the coach of Tennessee. He's not a Tennessee guy. He went to Oklahoma. And
you think if Oklahoma job was open, he would go there? Like if it ever opened in the future?
well, we see it a lot. I mean, Scott Frost, he left Central Florida to go coach Nebraska when that job was open. So, it sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, back in I think it was 2004 when Ty Willingham got fired from Notre Dame. Everybody was so sure that Urban Meyer, who was a former assistant at Notre Dame under Bob Davie, you would think that he would have jumped all over the chance to take the job.
Well, he said, I believe when we were looking to hire, Urban Meyer has always said that his dream job would be Notre Dame, and I believe he said during that time when Brian Kelly left, I believe he was quoted as saying, the only thing that would get me to come out of retirement is if I got offered the Notre Dame job. So, take that for what it's worth. I mean, do I like what the stuff he's done? No. Do I think he's a good person? No. Is he a good college coach? Hell yeah, he is. He won national championships. He must be good at that, obviously. But after the shit show that was Jacksonville, I mean, I honestly think he stunted Trevor Lawrence's growth, to be honest. And when you have a quarterback that many people think was the next Peyton Manning, and you almost ruin his career.
I gotta say this about Urban Meyer: he did have some good taste in women. So good that he slapped her on the ass. BBD says it's all good, Sean. You know I'm behind you under up any circumstance. Although I am still a little pissed that you let the Domers knock Tennessee out of the baseball playoffs last year. I let them. I have that kind of power. I didn't know that, dude.
Hey, you know what, Big Vol Daddy? I had to hear it from your fans all over Twitter. Because I remember a specific Tennessee fan saying, oh, well, Notre Dame had a nice run, but we're the best baseball team in the history of college baseball. You guys are going to get swept. They beat us the first game. Oh, it's over. You guys got no shot. Then we smack them in the second game. Oh, well, that was a fluke. And blah, 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 blah. Hey, what happened in game 3? What happened in game 3? You got smoked again. Notre Dame took you guys to the Smoky Mountains and cooked you.
All right. I'm kind of in the middle of this right now, and I don't want to be because I don't want to feel BBD.
It's all love, BBD.
He's going to come up here and kick my ass. Don't you know that? You're the one talking, but he's the one I'm the one that he's going to blame. Let's see what else. Going back to what we were talking about with the topic at hand, BBD says, oh, not that one. What was the other one? Oh, with Josh Heupel. He says too much bad blood between Heupel and Oklahoma. I guess I didn't realize there was bad blood. Shows you how much I pay attention. Walter says, I wish Lionel could get a college football licensing so I can get a a Notre Dame themed train on my layout. I have their Chicago Cubs train. Oh, cool. Let's see. Where was Okay, I don't know about this one. The troll sniper. I like the name, but I have a feeling that kind of name is somebody who would be a troll that's trying to snipe the show. But he says, my main issue is Saban targeting Reese knows Hartman may follow.
No,
I don't know about
Hartman,
that. No.
Hartman, well, technically Hartman can, but the NCAA would give him a pretty generous thing out of his letter of intent. So it would be a lot of work. And he wouldn't be able to leave until, I believe, April.
I think so. Yeah.
And Hartman's already started classes, so I don't think.
Yeah. He started classes. He started the workouts and all that. And yeah. And he goes on to say, Bama doesn't have an experienced quarterback on the roster, so I could see Saban doing this, and it would hurt what Notre Dame's built on offensive badly. The one I'm not worried about Sam Hartman because he's not going to. He already made his decision clear on where he wants to be for his.
And I don't think he wants to go through the whole paperwork stuff again, trying to transfer.
Hold on. I didn't see this right away. Troll Sniper meant to say, did Saban? Okay, so so let's read that again as a question. My main issue is, did Saban target Reese knowing Hartman? Okay, he's asking. He's asking a question, like you said. Sorry, dude. Our bad. Yeah, and Troll Sniper means I ain't trolls. Nice, awesome. Yeah. So no, I don't know. Obviously, it wouldn't affect us and Sam Hartman. The only thing that something like that could affect would be guys that we already have, committed to us. And I'm not worried about the current class because they're all signed, and so they're gonna get a taste of Notre Dame for at least a year. But the ones that I would be concerned about is guys like C.J. Carr, who are a part of the
Cam Williams. Cam Williams would be another one because he's a big Notre Dame guy, and I believe Reese was a big, recruiter for him. So I honestly, obviously every recruit matters, but if I had to pick two recruits that I would probably throw a fit over if they did commit it, to be C.J. Carr and Cam Williams, just because of what they mean to the program.
Well, they're a part of that future core.
Mm-hmm.
So that losing one of them would really hurt. So Big Ball Daddy had a response to your baseball rant there, Ryan. He says, some of our fans are turds. We did have probably the best team ever assembled last year, but I think I told Sean I was scared to death of ND. Yeah, yes, you did, BBD. You did tell me that. Our baseball team, they got hot at the right time, and
they should have won the World Series. They should have.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of great talent in Omaha, but just getting to Omaha, because we hadn't been there since, what was it, 2000, 2001? Mm-hmm. Just to get
Who
there.
Who did we lose to? I can't even remember.
Was it Texas?
Didn't we, it was like a 2-1? It went 3 games against Texas?
Why
is that?
I know it's I want to say it was Texas or some other Texas school, but I'm not sure.
But I believe if I remember correctly, I believe Notre Dame the last 2 seasons has lost to the team that eventually won the World Series.
Well, that really just shows you how good that team is,
Last year, I think, not this past season, but the season before, I think we would have won the World Series if we would have just got past Mississippi State, who ended up winning it.
Yeah.
We lost that. We had that series in the bag, and we let Mississippi State back in it. Should have never happened, but.
Well, baseball's a game that's just like football. It's so unpredictable on what's going to happen, and
As a Cardinals fan, I know all too well, Sean. We should have been playing in the World Series if we didn't lose that series to the Phillies when we had Game 1 locked up.
Well, in that case, I don't give 2 shits because it's the Cardinals. Because I'm a Cubs fan.
So, you're on the dark side?
No, that's the White Sox.
No, that's just who nobody cares about them side.
Yeah. I know. I was trying to make a joke and
you know what White Sox fans are? They're Cubs fans that feel bad for the White Sox because they don't have really much of a fan base, so they go and they act like White Sox fans.
No, it's just because they're on the south side of Chicago. That's why they act the way they do. But I'm not. I've gone too far just by saying that. So anyway, let's see here. Walter says, I want y'all to chant this at Indy Stadium. Hey, what do you say? All right. I can tell you with certainty, I am not going to chant that. I'm sorry. That's not what I do. Ryan?
Nope.
Sorry, Walter. I did like this though. The Lady Irish fans are digging Hartman. I hope they don't distract him at the stadium. He may want a bodyguard on campus.
Did you hear what some of like the national media were saying about Hartman and ND? That it was a perfect fit. He got the golden boy at the Golden Dome. and
I didn't hear
they
this.
said,
Please continue.
and they said it's what's with Notre Dame and like supermodel quarterbacks. And it's like they had it like Brady Quinn, Jimmy Clausen, Ian Book, and now Sam Hartman. Like, is there a pattern?
Well, you even though he wasn't a quarterback, you guys had one of them on your show. You guys
Cam
had
McDaniel?
Cam McDaniel. Yeah. Tell me. I mean, listen, all of you guys who are watching, all 13 of you, but there could be more, go check out Ryan's show that he does with his buddies, Week Zero Productions. They had former Notre Dame running back Cam McDaniel on their show, in which I thought that was a good interview.
That was the best interview we've ever had.
And you can all look this up for yourselves. Google image this. Cam McDaniel, what was it, like the star-studded that drove girls wild everywhere? Because I think it was against USC one year. He was in the middle of a run. His helmet came off, and somebody got a still shot of this with his helmet off, and he was just so like gracefully looking, not grunting, not like trying to run the ball.
And funny enough, when we asked him about that, he said he had no recollection of really what happened on that play. He said honestly, because he was explaining it, and you guys should go over and watch that interview. Please do, because if you have the time, it is a really beautiful interview. Like the way he describes the inside of playing football at Notre Dame, what it was like under Brian Kelly. Great inside information. But nevertheless, how he described that moment, basically he doesn't remember anything from that play from when he got the ball to when he scored and his teammates were patting him on the helmet. He said he was like in this mode where he didn't, and he said that's why I looked at the camera like that, because it was almost like a daydreams type of state. And he said a lot of football players go into that state when they're playing. And he said, I really don't remember.
Well, yeah, I get that. When you're in the middle of playing the game, you can get in a trance. Especially in baseball, that happens a lot. Like when you're at the plate, yeah, you get into this trance where you are just zoning in on the pitcher and anticipating what pitch he's going to throw and so on. But anyway, guys, real quick, it is here in the comment section. And if you don't mind staying, Ryan, for 5 minutes, we can let the people see it. But I just posted it in the comment section here. That's Ryan and his friend's interview with Cam McDaniel. Go check it out. But yeah, I just remember he became, when that happened and somebody got that picture of him with his helmet off, he was the talk of women all across the country. I guarantee you, every girl in this country, they printed off that picture and put it up as a poster in their room. Oh, this guy, look at him running. He's so graceful, even through while running the ball. And yeah.
Well, I did want to say, like I said, we got that interview up. Everyone watching, please go over and watch that interview. Go over and watch some of our stuff over Week Zero Productions. If you like what me and Sean do, Sean can vouch for us. We're a lot of fun, and we don't have a filter. It is not a politically correct channel, so to speak.
Well, we've let it go here a couple times.
We let it fly. We let it fly.
Like when Magnum was on here, we were just talking, and how many times did Magnum say, "Oh, geez, Sean, that's like the 5th time your channel's going to get flagged, or it's going to get a dirty mark on it, or whatever." But
yeah, go over to Week Zero Productions. Just literally look up Week Zero Productions on YouTube, and you'll find us.
But more importantly, people, actually subscribe to their channel. Actually subscribe here. Actually subscribe to Ryan's channel at Week Zero Productions. That's what hell. If you guys like us and what we do on both channels, That's what helps gets us out there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, make sure and go check them out. And also, I gotta say, it's not me, it's you. I don't even want to elaborate on that reference. I don't want to elaborate too much, but I'll just say this: one of your friends, it's been me laughing at his relationship status and how funny funny the funny things that have happened with it. But when you told me that part, because that's been a trend on here, is giving his friend a hard time about his dating situation, and yeah, it's not me, it's you is the latest joke.
I'm actually getting on them right now, because Connor and Lucas are supposed to be doing their team specific videos right now. It's like a joke, and I'm like, you guys better be freaking right. Last night I said, guys, it's not like you get paid, because they don't.
No, but you got to put the effort into it like you are.
Like I said, I'm not bashing them or anything, but I do everything. So it's been nice for me to kind of step back a little bit, let them make some content for the channel. Gives me a break because, like I said, I've been kind of getting burnt out on it.
That's like, why don't you guys freaking contribute?
That's why I now anytime I ask them to do a video now and they complain, I post a GIF of me with a gun, and I said, "You better be making that damn video."
Like it's like that roommate that doesn't want to pay his share of the rent. No, you're going to pay your damn rent.
You're going to pay the rent, right?
Yeah,
you're going to pay the rent, right? Right, Sean, you're going to pay it.
No, I'm not. It's not. You're going. It's not like. I'm giving you an option. It's not like I'm giving you an option here. You are going to pay that damn rent.
Yeah, because then they'll be like, hey, so when we get big and we start making money on YouTube, what's the percentage like?
I'd say the percentages you can go screw yourself.
I said, yeah, 90% me.
No, I'm just saying if you talking to them.
Yeah, I'm saying 90% me, and you guys get like 2%.
Oh, I thought you said, Sean, are you talking to me? That's what I thought you said.
No.
Like, no. You're doing your part. You're coming on here. If we somehow made it, we'd give you a cut. But the only cut you would give those guys is actually a cut for like after hitting them or something. Like, you son of a bitch, why are you making me do everything? Contribute something, you son of a bitch. That's no wonder it was only it wasn't her, it was just you because you contributed jack shit.
And you know what, man? It's also the fact.
Right.
I told them.
You got me started now. I'm being ornery right now.
Sean, I told them on our last live show. I said, like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I literally do everything. You guys, all you do is you just come, you show up, and you get to enjoy the banners I make and all this other stuff. And I said, you guys are the pretty faces of the show. You know what the pretty faces of the show get? Jack shit, because you know what?
You know, Ryan, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm gonna say it. You just sounded like a housewife right now, the nagging housewife. You know, you're the nagging housewife that's actually right.
Hey,
see,
man, you know what?
I've never been married, so I can say that, and I don't give a shit.
Hey, man, you know what? I've done everything. Like I said, I was getting burnt out on it. It's got to the point where I got burnt out on it. My computer yesterday, when I was trying to edit our show, literally crashed. I got the black screen of death. So I think my computer's like, dude, I'm tired of doing this shit.
It's like a couple of squatters that you have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so no wonder they're not paying rent; they're squatting. You can't pay rent if they don't know you're there.
And we're also really quick, because I do gotta go like right now. But
we're just we're just getting started, man.
I have to be somewhere.
And Magnum's not even here, and we're getting going.
But I told them, because we're planning a trip to go to the Ohio State game next year, and all they're doing is they're paying for their flights to come out here, and I'm going to get the hotel, everything like that. And I was like, so now anytime they complain about making a video, their team specific videos, I say, hey, you know what, you motherfucker, I'm getting you free food, and you're getting a free ticket, and you're getting a free hotel stay. You tell me, what do you want to complain again?
Well, you know what you should do? You know what you should do with that? You should, okay, you're getting free food, free hotel. Okay, for the hotel, put them in some, like, I don't know if there's any hooker streets in South Bend, but put them in like a rundown place, a real rundown place, where it's like you turn on the faucet, water doesn't come out, but cockroaches do.
Yeah.
Put them in a place like that, and when you said you're paying for their food, right?
Yeah.
Well, you go and eat at a really nice place. There's a place right out there on the main drag. What's the street called there? Anyway, a really good burger joint there. You go eat there, and you have them eat like, I don't know, some crappy local mom and pop shop. I can't think. It's like, okay, here's a plate of mashed potatoes. That's all you're getting. That's all we serve. It's good. I'm sorry. I know those are good dudes.
No, yeah,
those are good dudes. But when I get on a roll with jokes, and I'm on a roll. Don't stop. Hey, listen, I just turned 37 years old. Don't stop a man this age when he's on a roll, because it's not going to last forever. Well, I guess a lot of women could say the same thing, right? It don't last forever. When it comes to us guys, it don't last forever.
Yep. But all right, man. Well, I really do gotta go.
Okay, one last thing. Walter says, "Oh yes, I seen them hookers in the corners in downtown South Bend." How do you know that, Walter? Have you tried picking some up? What's the going rate?
Talking about felonies on this channel, man. It's really another copyright strike.
I didn't say commit a felony. I'm asking him.
No, Sean, you're promoting felonies, man. You're promoting it.
I did not say, Walter, go get a prostitute. Go get a prostitute in South Bend. And besides, if he got a hooker in South Bend, he'd probably discover there was actually a rod with the curtains. Right, Walter? No, I'm kidding, dude. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, I really do gotta go.
All right. But well, guys, this has been a great show. I think we got up to like 20 people in here that I could see, which is one of the most we've ever had on this channel for a live stream. Mm-hmm. So thank you all for coming and watching, leaving a comment, and yeah, we'll see what happens with Tommy Rees in the coming days. With whether he goes to Alabama, stays in Notre Dame, who knows? But this was a lot of fun, especially the last half hour here. And anytime we can laugh at your friends, that's great. But they are good dudes. I can tell you that much. So with that, everyone, I'm Mendy Sean 45.
And I am Ryan Week Zero Productions for Vel.
And how can I say this after all the things that we were talking about with hookers and stuff like that? They're just words. God bless everyone. Have a great night.
And go Irish.
Go Irish.